What's going on, guys? Been working on my wife's truck all day. Apparently, it just decided to stop running. So she she took my truck, which is full of all my gear, and then today I needed to climb a couple of the trees and get the Christmas lights off that I'd hung up in them. So I'm like, well, I have this little piece of rope right here. That's maybe 10 foot. And then I have another little piece of rope outside that my dog uses as a dog toy. It's the same rope. So I took it. I just advanced myself up. I used the new rope runner Greg sent me. So that was fun to get to use that. But I had like my old saddle on and it's like falling apart. It was sketchy. Very sketchy. So what's up, Ground Pounder? Peter, what's going on, buddy? Seems like I always work late on Tuesdays. I'm still driving home. Dang. Yeah, you know what? At least you're working, brother. Some of us are about to pull their hair out because they aren't doing anything. So, but you know what? I don't ever like being at home. I guess now I have stuff to be doing. I, I think my wife starter one out maybe, or the solenoid. She has a F-150, like a 2004, and we bought it. It had came with a new motor, which is pretty nice. So I bought the truck used with like $100,000 warranty on the motor. So they replaced the motor once already, and I've replaced a bunch of stuff to it since, and I just stressing. I feel like I'm getting to the point where I need to get her a truck or vehicle, and I'm sure she will. I don't think she'll go back to driving a car anymore, but yeah, eventually I gotta figure out getting her a truck. Hope to God that mine continues to hold up and the trains keeps working like it was. So I don't know. Just dealing with everyday BS is getting aggravating, and I could use a little bit of good luck. But yeah, let me see if this thing has spark real quick. Yeah, it's got plenty of spark. It's got to be. That said something about the like solenoid or something. Maybe I think he may have said, or there was a flywheel sand in that because it gets rust in there sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. I'll just keep running through it little by little. Eventually, I'll figure it out. Got a feeling it could be gas lines, so that's more than likely what I'm betting on. So it's my 200. That's what I'm talking about. Doing all right, ground pounder. I'm hanging in there. You're enjoying some ice cream. I'm the same, Billy. I have to have every night. That's just my routine. I have a chocolate ice cream. That's just the thing I do. So traded some much worse vices for that. Quite a few years ago, I go through a lot of ice cream, and I only chocolate ice cream. That's it. I'm kind of picky with what kind too. Dan, what's going on, man? Yeah, so I got to use this today, and I used it on this all gear rope. I feel like I'm just in a bad mood right now. If I'm being honest. Um, yeah, I'm in a funk. So I get over it. I wish that the collapsibleness of the device was on the outside of it. If I had my choice, I would like for this where you're pressuring down on it to be on the outside. I think it would almost work better, but maybe I'll get used to using my thumb. Um, I don't like this, and I don't think I'm gonna like that, but probably the thumb will work good. And I used it in 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 single and in dual, and it worked really good. Um, not for long rides. So I'd like to get a good 30 to 40 feet of just straight coming down on the rope to kind of test the jumpiness and get it dialed in. I feel like that's the best way to really kind of dial in a device is if you can keep a smooth descent from about 20 to 30 foot. So I wouldn't say first test it at 20 to 30 foot. I would say test it at like 5 to 10 feet. Make sure it's holding, make sure it does everything it's supposed to do. Move up about 15, maybe 20, and then 30. But yeah, Greg is really cool. He even like down or sent me the stuff to watch for the recalls on these things because apparently the birds weren't re-engaging. So yeah, really liking it so far. Um, my only thing is I wish that the collapsibleness was out here instead of in here. So just a weird preference thing. I think it would just feel better out there, and I kind of I mean, I understand everything else, the pulley, why it's out there, the, slack tender being here. Um, I'm so used to the wrench, I think is what it is. If that's probably it. And I'm collapsing the wrench from out there on the outer edge, like out here, and it would be kind of like this. But yeah, I'll get used to it. I think I'm really gonna like it. So. Gotta give a huge shout out to Greg. Can't believe he sent me this. So I need a little bit of good luck, so I got a reason to go use it. But yeah, I was watching YouTube videos earlier and got aggravated at. That's how I know I'm in a bad mood because I watched I watched a video and my instinct was to be like, dude, you totally ripped my video off. Like you did the exact same video, and we know each other. Like the exact same video. But then I'm like, well, you know what? I'm sure I've been guilty of like learning something and then not remembering where I learned it from and re-showing it. But yeah. So it took me a while because I was aggravated about it. I'm like, that's kind of messed up. I feel like you should have said something. But then I'm like expecting people to just because I give credit where I get stuff from doesn't mean everybody has to, and I have to realize that. And I just realized I was in a funk, so I'm like, oh god, this live feed ought to be interesting, but we'll see how it goes. Flying to Nashville, right on, ground pounder. Well, good luck, brother. Putting out some good videos. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, the videos have been fun. I actually been thinking I have some really old stuff. Like I'm thinking about doing some shorts, and they'll be kind of like the very last video. I just put a short out. It did nothing. It is the worst short I've ever put out. Like it got the least amount of views I think of any short I've ever put out, and I liked it. I was like, dang, I feel like that was a good video. But you know, it is what it is. So, but I think if you're curious, like what I mean, the last short that I put out, I'm gonna be putting some of the videos like that out, maybe a little more in depth. There may be something to learn on them. Maybe I'll do voiceovers, but I'm gonna use a lot of that older footage to do some shorts, and then I have some like videos from a total different view. We'll go like ground view of that big sycamore and then that oak that was over the road. So that's kind of a heads up of stuff that's coming, but and then whatever new stuff I can think of as we go. James, what's going on, man? Yeah, ground pounders, they were fun. That one, especially that one short, was really fun to make. Like, soon as I watched it, I'm like, oh my god, that's perfect. And my at the time, the funny part was, okay, I'll tell you. As I when I seen it, I was like, that's hilarious. You having chocolate right on, Billy? Me and you, brother. Nesquik pretty much every night for me. Peter, that is so funny. My wife is the exact same. I buy her the big, like round containers from Walmart, like the super family size ones, and that's her thing is Nesquik too. So that's awesome, man. Um, you like yours, Dan? Right on. I think I will too. I really think I do already, but I'm sure I like it even more. The ability to switch from SRT to DRT with no change in setup is going to be really nice. Richard, to see what you say about the Rope Runner Pro. Yeah, I like. Everybody's kind of. I kind of know because I'm a I'm a guy who you're not going to get too many people that are going to use the Petzl Gree and say that's a good device. It takes you like a really like you almost have to like be able to like displace your weight all even and like it's a very tricky device to use because it's a single loaded cam that's it's vertical loaded cam and I think a lot of them are turned to horizontal loaded cams so they're going sideways it's loading the cam like that. But the Gregory's like this, it just goes back up. And so you're all your weight's forcing that down and you have to relieve the weight by pulling on that to so it's probably the jumpiest device that I know of is the Gregory. And I can use it and I enjoy it. I really like it. So I'm sure all these devices I'm gonna like. It's just what rope am I gonna like it on? And I really like the fact that, you know, you can adjust this out with the Allen key there to whatever diameter you're going to end up using. I really like that. Um, haven't really done too much checking on it yet, but I may have to dig through and find a specific one for this. I was almost thinking about taking and just hooking a key ring. Actually, like one of these is what I was gonna do for my little rigging rings that I used for the demos. Just taking one of them rings and just opening it up and putting it on there and then clipping into that ring each time. But I don't want that ring to get caught up in anything. And I feel like it look if that ring was on there, it would flip up and would like go hook over that thing there. Maybe not, but I feel like it would. And I don't want to take a chance in that. So I may just look for the right carabiner that'll go in that little slack tending thing there. So but yeah, I really stoked on this. It's very nice. Uh, I never really gave the device all that much attention. I just always figured it's just not a device for me. It's too expensive. I can't ever afford it. So I never you never really hear me talking about it. And I took the more cost efficient route, which was the rope wrench and then I've had Greg help me with, I had rope wrenches and my own tethers and all that, but Greg made it even better. And then Jared Knee Nigged sent me that zigzag. So it's like, if my poor ass wasn't getting stuff sent to me by you guys, we wouldn't have no content, I feel like. Gotta clean it, huh? Right on. I'll make sure to keep it clean. I never brought mine out. A whole heck of a lot of people love them. Yeah, yeah, and I think it's gonna be pretty easy to dial it in. I used it natural crotch. It worked really good. It it was nice. It was really nice. Um, and then DRT, it was like the action didn't really change. It worked the exact same. So I thought there would be a huge difference with that, with the Rope Runner Pro, um, when you switched from SRT and then you attach back. It felt the exact same, and I was like, wow. Well, there's no difference in action. Like it's still responding just as smooth. So I think I'm gonna like it. And that was on a natural crotch. So Nate Dog, what's going on? Different strokes for different folks. I enjoyed all of my YouTube channels, guys. Did you get into YouTube? I like the looks of that wrench. I got a zigzag as of now. Works great. Yeah, zigzag works really good. Um, I think the reason that I have and I like and enjoy. I don't even have one here to compare it to, but the the length of the tether that Greg makes, um, it it eliminates the chance of the wrench collapsing down onto the zigzag. So even when you fully collapse the wrench, it doesn't hit the zigzag. So when it's engaged, so it's really nice. I think this is what made the whole thing amazing for me. I don't know that I ever used. Um, I don't think I ever used the zigzag with a regular tether. It's always been with Greg's. So might have to reverse the pin on the bird so it don't bug you as much. Hmm. Could you do that? Now you got me thinking, Dan. Hmm. No, because it's still got to be engaged this way. Because I believe technically this can all be removed. You could take that off, this pin off. Well, here, I'll show you. I believe that you could go ahead and take these off. And I really like that they're set up to where you can um, spin them. If you set them, the pins on there right in the right positions, I think they're set up so you can like spin them and they'll come off. I don't know if this one's set up on the right one though. Hmm. Okay. So I think you can take the pin and that piece out from what I'm looking at. This is just extra tension, and I think you could just hook in there, technically, and just go like that and climb off of it. Um, This is just adding a mechanical advantage for tending slack, and this is just giving a little better uh, tie-in positioning. But yeah, yeah, I believe you could remove that and just physically climb off of it because I think the bulldog bone and this are so incredibly similar um, that the only difference is like yeah, it's like a bulldog bone right there with the way that's set up. But yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, huh, that part technically you wouldn't need that part and you would be totally fine. But what it's doing is actually holding this all this together and keeping and like forcing the make sure I have to have all my pins going. Oh, I about did it wrong. Um, it's keeping everything aligned right. So oh, I hate messing with these pins. What the hell? Okay, my bad. I see what I'm doing. I think I set that up wrong. Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out. See, my head's so gone right now. I'm trying to figure out like why didn't I just leave it on there? I had the pin on the wrong side. So I do know if you have one of these that the pins are set up a certain way. Now, if you was to take this pin here on it and take this off and put it the other way, you won't be able to open the pin like you normally would because you can go like this, okay? You get them to there, and then they have a spot on them that you just keep turning, and it pulls the pin off. Now, if you was to put that on that other side, I don't know if that groove is actually there on that one. Yeah, it actually is, but it isn't on the other one. I know because I tried to use it and it wouldn't work. So am I about to do it again? How about I did it again? Put it the wrong way. Where's the other pin? Oh, right here. So this one doesn't have it on the other side here. Or do you have to take that one all the way out? No, you don't have to take that one. Okay. You don't have to take it all the way out. Same with this one. I think. Yeah. This is going to be fun to get used to. It's definitely different. I didn't really give it, like I said, that much attention when I originally seen it because I just didn't think it'd be something I'd ever have. So, yeah, stoked to really put some time and effort into it. So. Jacob put out a short and blamed Kevin for the hole in the asphalt. Hey, Billy, I know. I don't know if you guys read the comments, but there were like, there's a moderator now, and I think maybe some comments like it was nothing but bad. Like he may need to get a moderator because he's so popular that he's gonna get just trolled hard. But man, they were really giving it to him in the comments, calling him a crybaby and stuff like that. And one guy said that he's like, I used to support him and even paid for his Patreon. He said, but I stopped supporting him after he forced some German kid to pay for him and his wife's trip to Germany so that he could come work for him. And then he like something didn't go right on the work too, and I don't know. I don't know. I remember that story and I thought it was really messed up, and I'm like, man, this kid from Germany is just incredibly nice, but maybe he just got himself mixed up and he shouldn't have, and who knows. But yeah, I'm kind of curious how that all goes about. He's so big, Jacob's so big right now that it can easily take a turn, and like he could get half bad, half good crowd to where it's so easy with tree guys. They're looking for a reason to tell you that they're better than you or that they would have done something different. It's just in the nature, especially if you're going to show any mistake. I feel like if you're going to show a mistake, then everyone is going to tell you how dumb you are and how they would have done it better. And even though, like, I don't know, the way I see things, like, if I looked at a guy and I'm like, well, I'm not so much like above him as far as like, not above him, but just way more knowledgeable than him and have so much experience and it's not completely obvious, I kind of just leave my mouth shut and try not to tell them they did wrong or anything like that. I tried to stay as neutral as I could in our video too because that's basically how I feel about that situation. Um, I'm guilty of losing my cool and maybe being a little more aggressive than I should, getting mad. So I couldn't get mad at him about that. It'd be a bit hypocritical on my part, but I do get Kevin's side too. So yeah, Billy, I seen that, and oh, what's that's a tough one. What's up, John? How are you, brother? Yeah, I like the drone or those drone shots. I'm glad he sent them to me. They did make that footage a lot better. History. Yeah, it's pretty nice here right now too. Don't put any on there. Sanders Willie had 2 foot last week. Just don't leave anything on the back when climbing, Mike. Don't leave anything on the back. Oh, on that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because it is. That would be. No, it would be on the inside. But I get what you're saying. I pressed it on there, and I don't think it could possibly catch. Um, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm just gonna find. I have a few smaller carabiners, and they seem to fit. So I think I'm gonna be all right. I'll just that'll be what I used for slack tending. Just make sure I have a specific carabiner, and it doesn't need to be crazy strong. If I have to, I'll go buy something and use it. Today, like I was telling you, I was climbing and doing what I did. I'll show you what I was actually climbing with. I was climbing with this old shackle. Where's that big ass clip? That is big silly ass clip. I don't know where it's at. Thought it was here. But I had to use it because it had some weight to it. So I could really launch it up into the tree a little bit. Is it still clipped to my saddle? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Look at this. I was using this thing. That big old heavy thing. And I tied it onto the end of this little rope right here. Put a stopper knot in it. Flicked it up, advanced. Um, and then just kind of rope walked up it, tended my slack as I went. Limb to limb and advanced it. And then I didn't have any carabiners. I just had a straight rope, so I had to like do a straight tie off with a lanyard, on one side and the other just straight knots. and switched my tie-ins back and forth. It was nutty. And then I got up there in the damn saddle, the buckle. I guess I didn't buckle it all the way, and the buckle on the leg opened up, and I don't know. Yeah, John, how you been, brother? How are you? Yeah, John, it's a really nice setup. The wrench. Um, I used to have an extra one, and I don't know what happened to it. Like it just disappeared. I won. I think I bought one, and then maybe I lost two actually. I feel like they're getting stolen. But I won one in a contest. It was a, and it's the one that I know has been missing for the longest. I know, like, I wish I had it so bad, but it was one of the original mass-produced wrenches. It was a signature series, Kevin Bingham, red on one side, black on the other, and I won it in like some, I don't know, raffle thing where they used one of my pictures or something. I think it was Cheryl, or maybe it was Tree Stuff. I don't remember. And then I won Cheryl's uh, some tethers from Cheryl on another like photo raffle kind of thing, and then Jared sent me one. And I bought one. So I wish if I find any of them, John, I'll let you know. I can't sell the only one I got because I love the wrench more than anything. But let me let me I'll keep looking through my stuff, man. Maybe I can find that other wrench and I can if I got it and I can figure it out, maybe I can figure something out and work one up for you. Never climbed on a mechanical device. Just feel like I can trust hitch cord a bit more. Um, yeah, yeah. Hitch cord always worried me though. Um, some of the sewn eyes kind of worried me, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But I think looking at a mechanical device, and all of them are the exact same in my opinion. Looking at them on a screen, I have absolutely no trust in any of them. If it weren't for people using them in videos and me seeing them that way, I would have never had any trust in the wrench at all. I would have never had any trust in the Gree at all just by looking at them. It makes no sense to me. Rope on rope has made sense to me. It's what I've always done. Switching over to a hitch climber pulley and using a prusik wasn't a big jump for me, really. It felt pretty natural. I was like, I like this. Now I can tend my slack really easy. I have additional connection points. So I feel like a lot of guys say that, that switch to a hitch climber is kind of rough, but that was a very natural switch for me. But then going to a mechanical device was was tough. But after I got a device in my hand and I used it low and slow, and I kept using my normal thing, but I would use it low and slow and start to see the advantages. And then one day I just integrated it and used it. I grained a little bit, but you don't ever gain confidence in them until with except for with use. I am very sure and like I feel pretty confident saying like I probably felt the exact same way that you feel when it comes to mechanical climbing devices originally, and I have a lot of faith in them now, and there's a lot of advantages that I've gotten from using them. So John, I would say maybe you may want to give it a try. My brother is the exact same way, John. I'll go ahead on comments and just say I just want to make sure I finish this. John, my brother's the same way. He's very old school with everything he does. He's just recently started buying rings and rigging with them. He's always done natural crotch everything. He does a taut line hitch. He does not straight, and he's got started to get into all this, and he's starting to love all the extra little gadgets and stuff like that, and how you can I explained to him like how you can make a tree stronger by spreading the limbs out and the forces with the rings and using redirects, and he's like, you can see it like, wow, never thought about that. But it has been very, very, very hard for me to convince him to try the zigzag. I try to get him to climb on it every time I see him. Come on, you gotta climb on this zigzag, man. You're gonna, and I know for a fact he is gonna love it when he tries it. But he's just, that new thing isn't. It's scary. It's scary, and I think people think there's this big. There is a learning curve to all of them. You're not going to be a master at it, but with common sense, 90% of the devices you can use and work them with ease. There's not going to be a huge difference. Well, you're collapsing a little flipper or a link on a zigzag where you would be doing that to a prusik cord. Same thing. Um, and then the other ones are just points that you collapse down as you would with a prusik cord or a taut line hitch. And you just need to be able to see them engage and hold your body. You know, this is what I always did. I threw them up, I got over a limb, and I would hook the device up and I would jump and I would pull the slack up and blam, I'd slam my body weight down into it and see if it could take that. And that was the first thing I did is I slammed some body weight down into it because for my own head I needed that. I don't have any faith in this device and I need to build a little bit of comfort and a bit of belief in it. And here's what I can do. First thing, I'm on the ground. I find the first limb, I throw it over it, and I just jump and tend as much slack and try to slam my ass and my weight down into it as hard as I can, depending on the limb that I'm tied onto, because you don't want to just crush a limb onto you. And I try to almost do it harder than it, like as hard as it would be if I was to fall 5 foot, or because you're gonna hit that, and just as hard as I can drop my weight into it. And when you see a device work great and hold you, then you start to believe in it a little more. So you're not weird, John, to not have trust in them and to not want to jump over to them. I was the exact same way. My brother's the exact same way. So you have to watch out. It will fall apart just like that by itself if it's just hopping around open. Really? Never take them all the way out. Yeah, I don't think you have to. My father-in-law's birthday's 420. I think that's the day that my uncle passed too. So I think isn't it like Hitler's birthday or something too? 420. I can't remember. It's some famous, maybe bad person. I can't. I don't know. I have four of the friends going with me. That's funny, ground pounder. Kevin asked, should they put a mat down, and Jacob said no. So it's more Jacob's fault, 100%. That I kind of agree with that, Billy. But then it's okay. Let's ignore fault. Did he have the right to be aggravated or mad at that time when it hit? I think if you remember, he says, "Damn it!" And I just talked about it, and I think that's his way of being like taking like realizing it's his fault, because he talked about it for some. I don't know. Then I seen some people were saying that was a very big 4 inch, and no, it wasn't. So like, there's always one side or the other. Either you have those people who hate it and hate you for it, or the people that just are on your side no matter what, and they're like stoked on you getting mad. Or I don't know. I don't know. The internet's a weird place, but I seen the comment section. It was very strange, but I'm really glad I could make the live, my tree brothers. What's up, Eric? After climbing and running bucket for 20 years, I'm in the process of getting ISA certified. Well, congratulations, man. That sounds awesome. The fall apart hurt. It's sudden stop when you hit the ground. Yeah. The fall doesn't. Yeah, it's it. Definitely the sudden stop. That's the part that hurt when it happened to me. Finally home. I love my rope runner. Yeah, I think I'm really gonna like it, Peter. I really do. Do I have to think bigger? Do I have to think bigger lens for time, or would you suggest smaller and safer? Um, I mean that's gonna vary, buddy. If I'm answering that, and who was it? It was Wayne. How you doing, Wayne? Wayne Schwab. Um, I think it's gonna vary, buddy. There's gonna be those times where if you have the space and you have the correct guy on the ropes and you have the experience and talent, I say go big. If the tree will take it, um, that just is being more efficient. And but the safest route is always going to try to is try to go slow, say and small, and keep it safe. But I've always been the type to kind of push the rigging, and I wouldn't even. I mean, that's why I feel like I really focus a lot on rigging with redirects and stuff like that. I'm I'm the type like just because I know that limb will break when I cut this limb, there's got to be something I could do to make it not break, or have a backup that way if it does break, this is going to catch. So like I didn't just accept no, like okay you can't rig off that limb because this. I'm like no. There's got to be some things I could do. I feel like if you have the confidence in your setup as a climber, though, you have to know what that what that ground guy his experience level is at. Like where is his level at, and you kind of have to judge that and be like, he's not experienced enough. I'm not going to say he's not good enough. Let's say he's not experienced enough for me to be big, rigging big today. So you tone it down a little bit. You're making some calls whether you're the boss or not. You're gonna have to, you know, or you have this great confidence in this guy down here, and then you look over and you're like, homie's gonna take care of me. I've got a setup that's amazing, and I've got everything, made sure it's backed up and it's very strong, and I'm getting the max out of everything. You're definitely gonna hold it as long as he doesn't lock it up. And you know your guy, and you're like, he's not gonna lock it up and shock load it. You just hope everybody works on that smooth. But I feel like when you're going big, you're really close to that line of danger. So like further you can stay away from that line, the less chance of injury or mishap happening. So I would always say stay away from that line. If I'm just giving anybody advice that gets into this, stay away from it. don't rig big. I think that's the safest route for me if I'm giving advice too. Because if you've seen my channel or my content, you know that's not really how I roll. But you know, I don't think that's for everybody though. So and I have to acknowledge that. So I hope that answered the question, William. Yeah, maybe one day, ground pounder. Maybe one day. That sounds like something I'd probably be into. I mean, at least once. So ground pounder says he can be upset at the situation, but the climber no. Yeah, I think yeah. And what he's thinking is, oh, I shouldn't have even had him climb. I should have climbed. Like because at no time do I hear him say, "This isn't a 4-inch limb. You took too big of a top." He just says, "We talked about it," and yeah, like I didn't hear. I seen one person in that comment section that acknowledged what could be done. Everybody's like, "Go buy Arbo pads, like mats." And I don't know, not everybody's got all kinds of money like that. Like they just don't have the money to go buy these crash pad mats and stuff. They did have limbs. That's what they should have done. They should have put a cushion there. But when you don't want to get behind, you don't want to leave them branches sitting there. So it's like a double whammy on Jake because he didn't want to get behind, so he refused to allow the crash pad. And then he had him go up and take a smaller top, which helped, but the notch was so small. It like was the tightest little angle. That tree got to about right there. Okay, here's straight. It got to about right there, and then the notch was totally closed. So then it breaks, and it never even. I don't feel like it ever went tip down. Even it just went. It went pop and easily. So he could have took some lower limbs. Could have kind of weighted one side. That way it kind of pulled it a little bit and maybe would have spun it. But opening that notch up and keeping the top on the hinge for longer. And as it goes over, it's all the way to here and gets to about right there. And then it breaks off and you kind of grab that butt end and give it a little lift. Usually is what if I'm real high up because I know that as it's going down, it's going to catch wind and the butt weight is going to eventually go down. You don't want it to stab. There's been times where I have just a little drop zone down there, and I'll spear cut things and have them come straight down and replant themselves into the ground because you can use that technique. It can work in your advantage having the butt slam into the ground. But in that situation, it's just it had very little just it just had limbs everywhere. I feel like a couple more little limbs could have been taken off. It would have helped. Um, but opening that notch up and then as it came over, it would have been tipped over much more. It would have had longer to catch wind and it maybe would have been almost flat by that time. So, my opinion, opening the notch could have saved the day, giving it a little lift on the butt because you know you have so much fall time to kind of compensate or overcompensate for that. And yeah, or could have speed lined it, could have rigged it, could have put a crash pad, which the young man asked for. So, um, yeah, I mean, that's just one of them situations. And I don't see Jake saying, it's Kevin's fault. All this is Kevin's fault. It's just because of Kevin. Like, he put it out and he left every part of that. They could have very easily edited out the part where Kevin said, can we have a crash pad? But Jake didn't do that. So people calling him a crybaby and stuff in the comments and like being mad, I don't think they have the right to do that because Jake could have left that little sentence, those few words, he could have left that out of that whole thing, and that changes everything. But the fact he left that, he told you the whole story, and then now it's like it sucks that now he's catching hell for it and has to read the negative stuff. But man, it's nothing's all positive on YouTube. I've never experienced if it is. So, oh yeah, and it's episode 105 of Tree Talk Tuesday. Yeah, like I was saying, not feeling the best. Almost skipped it, but yeah, I'm here. I don't have the analytics because my studio didn't give it to me. Don't know why. They just didn't give it to me this week. So that is what it is. But I think it was probably a decent week as far as the content being put out. I don't think the views were the best, but it is what it is. YouTube is fun and inspiring for the ability to make and put out content and communicate with other people, but it's definitely not lucrative. So if you're looking for money, don't become a YouTuber. Many things could have been done to prevent the situation at the broken drive. Steps were skipped. Suffer the consequences. Yep. No other choice once it happened. Jacob rolled the dice on that one. But I've done that. There's been times, there's videos, you may not even have caught it, where I'll be like, I'm talking to Jake or something, and I'm like, nah, dude, I should have told you again instead of figuring that you had it. Like, I'm trying to blame you, but in reality, it was my fault. Like, sometimes you say something like before you have time to really process it, and I just, if you're going to get into this work, just remember not to take anything personal because emotions can be all over the place, and I think sometimes things can be said and they're maybe people have the best delivery or they let their emotions take too much control of the situation, and uh, you don't want anybody's feelings getting hurt. So I have uh, I have said many an apology on the way home before, so take it from me. It's just better not to be a dick, so you don't have to apologize on the way home. Yeah, I know. That's what was funny, Billy. Jacob was like, "Well, we should have put a crash pad and on his," and then he also was like, "Oh, I'm gonna rig mine out," and his top was just as big. So like, I don't know. Yeah, it's you could see. I mean, if he'd have just sent his, then he's an idiot. But at least he learned from vertical speed line would have worked. Um, you know what? It would have kept it into the tree enough that it wouldn't have hit the driveway. So vertical speed line would have worked. But it's still more than likely, if it's traveling straight down on that, it's going to catch the wind and the butt weight is going to get first. So as long as you have a strap that doesn't allow it to stretch out and it keeps it in that little flower bed kind of thing that was there, yeah, you could vertical speed line would have worked. Yeah. I want to use the GB3000 tomorrow and film it, but don't want to get persecuted by the tube. No, you won't. Yeah, yeah. I just, I think he has he has a different style than me. If you notice when he does trees, Billy, he'll often. What's up, William? He'll often like go up and make confetti out of the damn thing. Just cut everything and cut and chuck, or free cut, free cut, free cut. Um, and then he'll block the thing down where I'm not into to to cutting firewood when I'm on the side of a tree. It just doesn't sound fun to me. So even if I'm blocking a tree down, I'm doing it in like two chunk sections. So, um, but he has no problem. He'll just block it into wood, knowing that that's got what's got to be done. And I feel like he kind of wanted Kevin to be that same way. It's got to be cut anyway. So just go up to the very tip and cut everything and throw over this little stick. And maybe he's more comfortable being up on that little stick up there than Kevin was. Kevin had to make a call where he felt comfortable. And I don't blame him at all for sending it from there, but he doesn't have a ton of experience. He seems very good, seems very skilled, um, but his confidence isn't like that sucks because that was like a little bit of a kick in the butt on the confidence, and that sucks. But he's very good. But I feel like he should have said, hell, I'm just gonna rig this top out because I don't want to take a chance putting a hole. If it was my gig, I would just send it. But it's not. It's Jacob's. So I'm gonna go above and beyond because it's not mine. So I feel like Kevin did go, even though he kind of agreed and went with Jacob's decision, he should try to approach, especially when it's not his gig, he's going on somebody else's. When it comes to keeping things safe, you should go above what you would do for your own. So that's my own personal opinion. So if he was asking for advice right now, that would be the thing I would say. My grandma is my wife. She used the jailbreak. I want everyone safe. You used the jailbreak. That's cool. Yeah, I seen one of those the other day. Being used. And I actually seen one at when I was up at the uh, the expo this year too in St. Louis. Hey, it's that Norwegian girl. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Northern girl, what's up? How are you? So, Billy, Northern girl, is your name Jen? Is that right? I'm trying to. Billy said, "Hey, Jen." So, those mats are $350 a piece. Some places. Yeah, see, that's BS because you can go to like Hart or Rural King and buy these big rubber mats that they have there, and they're like maybe $100 per mat, and you just buy your own. Don't go buy ones from an arbor place. And one of the comments on Jake's video was the funniest. He said, uh, "Broke a light and put a hole, but it's okay." He's like, "You'll have you." What did he say? You could buy that guy a brand new driveway with as high as you upmark or upcharge all your stuff on Sappy supplies, and then it had like five likes. So it's pretty funny. Yeah, yeah, you're right, GP. Like if you notice, it's got that little bit of time there, so after it catches the wind and it stands the tree up, it's now just the butt weight pulling down, and it's always going to be first. It's not ever going to change trajections. Then it's at its falling point, and I'm sure they have a term for when an object gets into that position and it's falling and it doesn't change. But yeah, the height of the tree, a few little adjustments would have helped there, and yeah, it just sucks. It sucks to take that hit on the confidence for both of them. For Kevin as a new guy that's doing contract climbing, and for Jacob as a new business owner, neither one of them wanted that. And it's just the reality of the gig sometimes. They're tulip poplars. That's awesome. Yeah. These I couldn't help it. Whereabouts in Ontario are you? Northern? The Niagara Falls. What's this? YouTube can be a nasty place, a great place. Nobody here talks crap. You damn eagle's door. Do you have a YouTube Northern girl? Yes, she does. Yeah, I actually, you know what? Yeah, I went over and I caught one of your. I think maybe it was a YouTube short, or maybe it was a video. You were following one of the. You guys were following one of the trees, and it was a, it was a fatty. They get big. I did one around here. It's the tallest tree I think I've ever done. It was like easily 150, and it was like all the way surrounded with buildings and had uh, high voltage wires. But it was so tall, I had so much room before I ever got to the high voltage wires. Like if it wasn't for it being that tall, it would have been so much worse. But yeah, one of the few times that I really was scared the whole time. Or you could be like Rion and have a truck just for. Yeah, that would be awful nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, Rion is a machine. He is very streamlined and dialed in. Yeah, I follow Rion on Instagram. That's where he puts all of his stuff is on Instagram. So if you want to see his stuff or keep up with his stuff, definitely uh, follow him on Instagram. He's a good follow. This stuff's always really fun to watch. And he's a good guy. Seems like it at least. His little boy is so awesome. Like he drives his own little bulldozer now. He's got like a little dingo bulldozer. And that little boy, I think he's like 4 years old, but he drives the hell out of that thing. He's so good operating that machine. So, yeah, stoked. I dig it. I see that relationship between he and his son, and I'm like, damn, that's how me and my dad were. So, yeah, I don't know if I have too much more for this live, guys. I'm trying to think. There was something I had planned to do when I came in here, and I know I didn't go over it, but I can't. It's not coming to me right now. I can't think of what it was. But did anybody say if Northern uh, Girl Hobby is her name Jen? Well, I don't know. If I had something to talk about, normally I'd have it sitting out. I didn't have anything when I walked out here. I'm like, I don't have anything sitting out. I have my rings and my saws, but the wind is kicking outside right now. Yeah, I think I'm done for the night, guys. We have more thumbs up than we have people. I think at one point we had like 20 something, which is more than normal. August is really moving up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I only thing I kind of I don't like. Her name is Jen. Okay, I'll remember that because I don't want to call her just girl all the time either. So, Michael, what's up? You too, brother. Thank you. Um, I was gonna say something, I can't remember it. Something important. Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. I think I'm gonna do a saddle review video here very soon too for the Weaver Stratus. I feel like I've had enough time to really break the saddle in and find out the nuances with it and figure out if there's things that I don't like and find out the things that I do like. So, um, anybody that's maybe looking to get a new saddle may enjoy that. There'll be new content on the rope runner, I'm sure. And yeah, um, yeah, this YouTube thing is awesome. I think it's great that we can all network and you can teach and learn things from so many people, and it's this cycle that just keeps it always moving and keeps it fun and you everyone can like you can get even more than entertainment from it sometimes. So don't forget to give credit. It's just not a bad thing for you to admit that somebody showed you something and you're sharing it. So I just hate to see like there's guys like Educated Climber who wow he deserves so much credit, but the modern day tree climber or YouTuber goes to his channel, watches a video, the next day they make a video, a how-to video on that subject. So just because maybe people aren't being like you stole that, this that, like it's obvious sometimes, and like you can come off looking like a knucklehead. But I'm gonna try to do some funny shorts here with maybe old metal and wood, some of his stuff, and yeah, I'm just looking to have fun right now because, like I said, I'm in a funk, and I don't want to get any deeper into it. So, thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate your time, and it's awesome you give me your attention. But stay safe. Hope the rest of your week goes good. Hope you enjoy the content, and if I can, as always, if I can help you with anything, please don't hesitate. Leave a comment. Let me know. I'll I'll get back at you as quick as I possibly can. And yeah, stay safe, and maybe we'll do this again next week. 106. I just don't know when's it stop. Stay safe.